Hello, welcome to the first episode of Cider Week. One cider a day for 7 days from Monday to Sunday. I'm doing all these in one day, which might be a mistake, but I'm going to space the actual episodes out for the following week. I was going to do this last year, but I canceled because there just wasn't enough ciders in the NSLC for me to go through. But now there's basically a whole basically 4-foot section or so, I guess, on one of the racks for ciders alone. So, and cider-like beverages. Cider is essentially fermented fruit juice. It's very much like wine. Essentially, it's wine that's not been had any extra added sugars or anything like that put into it. Usually, ciders are naturally fermented, and they're lower in alcohol than wines. That's essentially the only big difference. It's purely pretty much for classification as far as alcohol difference. Some ciders get really high up in alcohol, mostly apple ones, and they can be called like apple wines and such. But usually ciders are from about 4 to 8 or so % in alcohol. Usually higher in alcohol in places like the UK, where ciders are very popular. And just to give you an idea, a lot of the UK beer tubers actually review ciders as well. And just to give you a quick list of people on YouTube that I watch that do quite a bit of cider reviews: the Albino Rhino, Brew by Me, Beer Goggles, Sofa King Drunk, Jake and Dar, and Dullahan Brewing. These are people all just off the top of my head. I made a little list here that do that. That do quite a bit of few ciders as well. So if you want to check out more, probably far better cider reviews than what I'm going to do this week, be sure to check them out. I'll link them all down in the bottom there. But yeah, basically ciders can be traditionally, usually they're apples, so most all ciders are apple ciders. It's the majority of the market. But you can get pear ciders, which are called Perry's, and you can make ciders out of essentially anything, really. It's just like wine. You can use other fruits to make ciders. It's just and often people will blend in cherries and stuff like that as well, like, you know, extra berries or whatever for extra flavoring, extra sugars. Maybe we'll up the alcohol a bit. So we're going to get into our first cider here. And this is probably the most famous one, most world famous one. This is Strongbow. They've been around since 1962. It sits at 5.3%, the one I can get here. It is an apple cider. They are owned by Heineken, and apparently they use a variety of apples, about 50 different kinds of apples. And oh yeah, another thing I should mention about ciders, usually they're aged for a few years. They're good after about 3 months, but most people try to age them for a few years. So some companies will age from 2 years, some will for 3. 3 seems to be around close to the average, but I don't know how long they do Strongbow. But yeah, this is a UK cider. They sponsor football clubs from time to time. Even the Strongbow name has a little bit of place in legend. Some sort of Norman lord, I can't remember what his name was at the time, but he used he famously used Welsh bowmen to fight the Irish, and the Irish didn't really weren't known for their bowmen at the time, so they were, I imagine, slaughtered quite well. So, but the Strongbow name comes from that. Just look it up. It's in Wikipedia, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to open this up and see what we think, and yeah, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back with Strongbow, first cider review. As you can see, this is a carbonated one. Ciders do not have to be carbonated necessarily, but a lot of the ones on the, the commercial market generally are, especially the ones that aren't craft ciders. So you can see this one actually has a head. Strongbow is essentially the Budweiser, I guess, of ciders in a way. So very nice golden color, golden yellow color. A little bit of carbonation coming up. A little bit of a white head. Yeah, that's about it. So go right to the aroma. It's almost got a grainy smell to it. It's got a very musty apple and grain sort of smell. There's a little bit of a tart and a sweet kind of thing going on in the background. It actually smells okay. It doesn't smell bad at all. I think they use, I think this one's notorious for using all kinds of additives, however. It might be caramel colored. I think they use sulfates in this. Added flavoring or whatever. So we're going to go right to the taste now. Yeah, definitely a tart apple taste. Carbonated. It does have a sulfury sort of thing on the sides of the mouth and tongue. It's not exactly all that pleasant. It tastes artificial. That's what it tastes like to me. It tastes like artificial apple something. I mean, they use real apples in it and everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they use fake apple flavoring or whatever, but I think there are some added things in this. It tastes okay though. It's not terrible. It's just a very one-dimensional tart apple kind of taste, really. The smell is actually a lot better than the taste. But it finishes with an off note. There's a weird artificial kind of thing going on. And the doggy is here. Hello, pups. Where'd your ball go? There it is. Good girl. Yeah, it's not bad. Like I did with my cooler week in the previous year, I'm not going to give number or letter grades. I'm just going to give a thumbs up or thumbs down kind of thing. Tell you whether I recommend it or not. It does have an off note to it, but it's not a terrible drink by any stretch of the imagination. So I'd give it a thumbs up just for a try. There's definitely no big bold flavors or anything, so honestly it might be a very good beginner's sort of cider to get into. It definitely hasn't scared me off of trying other ciders, that's for sure, so that's a good thing. Alright guys, Strongbow, it gets a, you know, a mild thumbs up, I guess. Not a big recommendation. I'm not saying go your way to find it, but this is one that just about everyone can find, so seek it out. Alright guys, we'll see you later.